Alex had always been a man of routine. Living alone on the distant human colony of Astronova, he found comfort in the predictable hum of machines, the soft glow of the research station's panels, and the quiet of the empty corridors. Most of the colony's population worked in groups in labs or mining facilities, but Alex preferred the isolation. He liked being able to think, to tinker with old machinery, and to explore ideas without anyone watching him or judging his methods. To him, life was simpler this way. That evening, like every evening, he had finished his work in the station's small engineering bay. The hum of the machinery was familiar, calming. Outside the reinforced windows, the alien sky of Astronova stretched endlessly, streaked with shades of violet and orange as two suns slowly descended toward the horizon. The colony's other residents had already retreated to their quarters or leisure areas, leaving Alex alone with his thoughts. He was organizing tools when a strange, low vibration filled the room. At first he thought it was a malfunction in the power conduits, but the vibration was different, almost deliberate. Before he could react, a soft shimmer appeared near the corner of the room. Alex froze, unsure if he was seeing things. The shimmer expanded quickly, like liquid light flowing through space, and before he could even blink, it condensed into the figure of a woman. She stood in the middle of the room, her presence commanding yet strangely playful. Her skin had a faint glow, almost like moonlight, and her eyes shone with a light that was not entirely natural. Alex's first instinct was to reach for a tool or some kind of weapon, but something in her expression made him pause. There was no hostility, only confidence. "Now you're mine," she said, her voice melodic, carrying a strange accent that Alex couldn't place. Alex blinked several times, trying to process what was happening. "Wait, who are you? How did you get in here?" he asked, keeping his voice steady despite the sudden adrenaline spike. She grinned, tilting her head as if amused by his confusion. "You know who I am, Alex," she replied, her tone playful. "I've been waiting a long time to meet you, but I suppose we'll start with introductions the human way." Alex's mind raced. "Meet me, waiting for me. Listen, I don't know what kind of joke this is, but—" "Joke?" she interrupted, stepping closer. "No joke, human. I traveled across light years just to find you, and yes, I could have arrived more politely, but you humans have a funny habit of hiding from the things that matter most." Alex swallowed hard. His brain tried to reconcile what was happening. A woman, no, an alien, had just appeared in his room through some kind of shimmering portal. And she knew his name, somehow. "You traveled across light years?" he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Yes," she said simply, glancing around his room with curious eyes. "And now that I've found you, you'll help me. But first, we talk." Alex hesitated. "Help you? How? Why me?" The alien woman, her movements fluid and graceful, her gaze almost piercing, laughed softly. "Because, Alex, humans are fascinating. You think in ways my people cannot. You create, you solve, you see patterns that are invisible to us. I needed someone who could understand my problem, and I sensed you were that person." Alex shook his head, still trying to take in the surreal situation. "You sensed me? How is that even possible?" Her grin widened. "I am from a species that communicates through connection, mental and emotional. We don't need words to know intent or trust. I found you because you have the qualities I need." Alex took a cautious step back. "This sounds insane. I've worked with alien tech before, but nothing like this. I mean, one minute I'm fixing a generator, and the next someone appears in my room saying I'm the one." She laughed again, a sound like wind chimes. "You humans are amusing. We do not mean to frighten you. In fact, I am in danger and I need help. Your mind, your cleverness, it is the key to saving my people. You will see soon enough." Alex's curiosity started to outweigh his fear. He was an engineer. He had faced impossible machines and failing systems. The idea of solving a problem, even one that spanned the galaxy, was almost irresistible. He motioned for her to continue. She studied him with those luminous eyes, and for a moment Alex felt exposed, not in a physical sense, but in a way that penetrated deeper, into the very thoughts and decisions that defined him. She could see his hesitation, his courage, his curiosity, and yet there was no judgment. "My homeworld is in peril," she began, her voice softening. "A massive energy core that powers my civilization is failing. If it collapses, it will not just destroy my planet. It could destabilize nearby star systems. I have traveled far to find someone with a unique perspective, someone who can think like a human, yet act across alien systems. That person is you. Alex felt the weight of her words. He had never imagined such responsibility. He had repaired life support units, studied power conduits, and even solved structural anomalies in the colony, but never anything on a planetary scale. And, you just decided to appear in my room? He asked, more to steady his nerves than out of anger. Yes, she said simply. I can arrive where I need instantly, but I cannot solve this alone. I need you. That is why I am here. That is why I claimed you. Alex rubbed his forehead. Claimed me? Look, I appreciate the compliment, but you can't just... I am not speaking of ownership in your human way, she interrupted, sensing his rising tension. I am speaking of partnership. I found someone who can help me in a way no one else can. That is all. Alex exhaled slowly, trying to calm his thoughts. He was alone on a frontier planet, and yet here was an alien being, powerful, intelligent, and confident, asking for his help to save an entire civilization. It seemed impossible, but somewhere deep inside a spark of excitement flared. I don't even know your name, he said cautiously. She smiled as if pleased by his question. I am Leora, and you are Alex. Together we will face challenges you cannot yet imagine. But I promise, you will learn, you will grow, and you will understand why I sought you. Alex nodded slowly. All right, Leora, I don't fully understand this, but I'll help, at least, for now. Her grin widened, not as a sign of triumph, but as reassurance. Good, that is all I need. Follow me, and I will show you the path. But first, you must trust me, he hesitated. Trust was not easy for him, especially with someone who had just appeared from another world. But something in her gaze, her calm confidence, and her playful grin convinced him to take a step forward. Leora extended her hand, and Alex took it cautiously. The moment their hands met, a strange sensation coursed through him, like a gentle pulse of energy, as if their minds brushed against each other. He saw flashes of alien landscapes, vast cities of glowing structures, and a planet under a strange golden sky. Do you see it? She asked softly. Alex nodded. I think I do. It's like I can feel your world, your people, everything. Exactly, she said. That is how we connect. That is why I chose you. Humans are rare in their ability to adapt, to solve, to innovate. And now, we must begin. She led him to the small chamber at the back of his station. With a wave of her hand, a shimmering portal opened, radiating light that painted the walls in shifting colors. Alex's heart pounded. This was beyond any scientific explanation he had learned. Through this portal lies my homeworld, Leora explained. It will not be easy. There are dangers, natural and otherwise. But with your mind and my abilities, we will succeed, and you will see why I said you are mine. Alex swallowed hard. He took one last look at his quiet, orderly station, the home that had been his sanctuary for years. And then, with a mixture of fear and exhilaration, he stepped forward, hand in hers, and entered the portal. The room behind them shimmered and disappeared, replaced by a tunnel of swirling light and energy. Alex felt weightless, as if floating through the stars themselves. He had no idea what awaited him on the other side, only that his life had just changed forever. And somewhere in the back of his mind, he realized that the adventure ahead would test not just his skills, but the very essence of what it meant to be human. The stars blurred, the tunnel pulsed, and Alex held onto Leora's hand tightly. Whatever awaited them, he knew one thing for certain: his world, his understanding, and his courage would never be the same again. And somewhere, in the depths of her luminous eyes, Leora smiled, knowing that humanity's spark had been found, and together they could face even the impossible. The moment Alex stepped through the portal, he felt a rush of energy unlike anything he had ever experienced. The swirling lights of the tunnel faded, and he blinked against the brightness of a new world. Astronova's familiar violet skies were gone. In their place stretched a landscape that seemed impossible, like a painting from another universe. Towering crystalline structures rose from the ground, reflecting sunlight in brilliant rainbows. Rivers of liquid light ran through the valleys, twisting and turning with a life of their own. Strange flora swayed even though there was no wind, and the air carried a faint hum, almost as if the planet itself was alive. Alex swallowed hard. This, this is incredible, he whispered. Leora grinned beside him. It is beautiful, isn't it? But beauty can be dangerous. My world, Erythra, is on the edge of collapse. The energy core that sustains this planet is unstable. Without help, everything you see, all of it, could be gone within days. Alex's mind raced. He had expected challenges, maybe alien technology, but not something of this scale. Days? You mean right now it's failing? Yes, she said, and that is why I brought you. You humans think differently. Your solutions are not bound by tradition or expectation. That is why you can help me. But first you must understand our ways. They began walking through the glowing valley. Alex was careful with each step, amazed at the way the ground seemed to pulse under his feet. Strange creatures scuttled in the distance, some with translucent bodies, others with multiple eyes that shimmered like gemstones. They did not seem hostile, but Alex instinctively kept his hand near his tools. Leora noticed his caution and laughed softly. Relax. They sense intention. You mean no harm, and that is enough. Alex shook his head in disbelief. Everything about this place defies logic. I don't even know where to start. You start by observing, Leora said, her tone gentle but firm. Watch the patterns, learn the flows, then act. That is how we survive challenges here. And soon, you will act with me. As they walked, she explained her people's history. We are called the Erythrans. We communicate not only through sound but through mental resonance. That is why I could find you across space. That is why I can see your thoughts in small flashes. We form bonds not of ownership, but of mutual understanding. And now, Alex, we are bonded. Alex swallowed. Bonded? You mean like a partnership? Exactly, she said, smiling. You and I are now partners in this mission. You will help me stabilize the core, and I will teach you to see the world as we do. Together we can succeed. The idea of partnership was strange to Alex, but he could feel a subtle connection, like a gentle current flowing between them. He realized that he trusted her, even though he barely knew her. The thought both excited and unsettled him. They reached a city built entirely of crystal, its towers spiraling into the sky. The structures shimmered with an inner light, and Alex could see movement inside them, figures gliding along walkways suspended in the air. He realized that Erythrans could manipulate energy to float and move without touching the ground. Leora led him into one of the towers. Inside, the walls were transparent, showing the inner workings of the city. Energy flowed like water through conduits, feeding the towers, the streets, and the massive central core that Alex would soon see. This is where the core's energy is channeled, Leora explained. Everything you see depends on it. But the energy has become unstable. If we cannot stabilize it, the planet's systems will fail. And that includes all life here. Alex's eyes widened. So, you want me to fix this? Leora nodded. Not fix, exactly. Solve. Humans think creatively. You approach problems in ways our algorithms cannot. That is why I need you. I cannot do it alone. They reached a chamber at the base of the tower, a large open space filled with floating spheres of energy. Each sphere pulsed and rotated slowly, casting shifting shadows across the walls. In the center, a massive orb hovered, emitting a low hum that reverberated through the floor. Alex felt the vibrations in his chest. This is the energy core, Leora said. It maintains the balance of Erythra, but look closely. She pointed to cracks in the orb, fine lines of shadow that pulsed irregularly. The core is destabilizing. I have tried to contain it, but the resonance is too erratic. That is where you come in. Alex stepped closer, examining the orb. I've repaired generators and conduits, but this is on a whole other level. Leora studied him. You will learn. First, you must understand its rhythm. Watch. She reached out with her hand, and a soft wave of light spread from her fingertips to the core. The energy shifted, pulsing in a steady rhythm. Alex could feel it in his mind, a pattern forming, breaking, and reforming. See? Leora asked. It has a pattern, even in its instability. You humans excel at noticing patterns that others miss. Find the anomalies, predict the fluctuations, guide the core back into balance. Alex focused. He could feel the energy in a strange way, like vibrations running along his nerves. He began noting the irregularities, calculating possible corrections, mentally testing scenarios. Leora watched, impressed. "You are faster than I expected," she said. "Your mind adapts quickly. That is why I knew you would be able to help." Hours passed as Alex studied the core under Leora's guidance. She taught him how to channel small bursts of energy safely, how to synchronize his human intuition with her alien resonance techniques. Alex felt his confidence growing. He began to see the core not as a threat but as a puzzle, one he could solve. Suddenly, alarms rang throughout the chamber. A sharp, high-pitched sound echoed, sending shivers through Alex. Leora's expression turned serious. "They've found us," she said. "The rival faction, those who seek to control Erythra's energy for their own purposes. They are approaching. We must act quickly." Alex's pulse quickened. He had expected challenges, but a direct attack was more dangerous. "What do we do?" he asked. "We defend and stabilize at the same time," Leora replied. "You will focus on the core's fluctuations. I will manage the energy flows and protect the chamber. We must synchronize our efforts." The first attackers appeared through the windows, strange mechanical drones, shaped like floating shards of metal with glowing red eyes. They moved with precision, firing beams of energy that could destabilize the chamber if not blocked. Leora extended her hands, forming barriers of light that deflected the beams. "Alex, now!" she shouted. Alex focused on the core. Using the observations he had made, he calculated how to counteract the unstable fluctuations. He guided energy through small conduits, nudging the orb back into a steady rhythm. The hum of the core steadied slightly, and Leora's shields held firm against the drones. Working together, human intuition and alien power, they pushed the energy core back into stability. The drones began to malfunction, unable to adapt to the unpredictable energy pulses Alex created. With a final push of synchronized effort, the attackers were repelled. The chamber's alarms ceased, leaving only the soft hum of the now stable core. Alex sank to the floor, exhausted but exhilarated. We did it," he said, barely believing it himself. Leora smiled, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Yes, and now you see why I sought you. Humanity has a spark that is rare across the stars. You think in ways that are unexpected, and that is why you are invaluable." Alex looked around the chamber, at the floating spheres, the stabilized core, and the alien woman who had brought him here. He realized something profound. He had come to this world as a visitor, but already he felt connected, not just to Leora, but to the planet itself. The challenge had been terrifying yet thrilling, and he knew this was only the beginning. Leora guided him to a viewing balcony overlooking the city. The crystalline towers shimmered, the rivers of light flowing freely once more. Erythra was safe for now. "You have done more than help stabilize the core," she said softly. "You have earned trust, not just mine, but the trust of my people. They will see humans differently because of you." Alex felt a surge of pride. He had always been a quiet observer, a thinker. But here, in a world far from Earth, he had made a difference. And he realized that the adventure was far from over. The planet still had dangers, the rival faction was still a threat, and the core's long-term stability remained uncertain. But for the first time, Alex felt like he belonged, not just on Astronova but among the stars. Leora's gaze softened as she looked at him. "Rest for now. Tomorrow we begin the next phase. You will learn more about our people, our technology, and the deeper connections that sustain this world. And together, we will face what comes next." Alex nodded, his mind still buzzing from the day's events. He had crossed a threshold into a world of wonder, danger, and discovery. He didn't know what awaited him, but he felt ready. With Leora by his side and his human ingenuity guiding them, He knew that even the impossible could be possible. That night, as he lay in a small guest chamber prepared for him, Alex stared out at the alien sky. The twin moons reflected in the rivers of light below, and the hum of Erythra's energy core resonated faintly through the walls. He thought about the bond he shared with Leora, the challenges they had faced, and the adventure yet to come. For the first time in his life, he felt that he was part of something greater, not just surviving, but truly living. And somewhere, on the other side of the galaxy, the universe seemed to hum a little brighter, as if acknowledging the courage, ingenuity. The morning on Erythra began with a strange luminous glow that filtered through the crystalline towers. Alex woke in the small chamber Leora had prepared for him, still feeling the hum of the energy core in his veins. He stretched and looked out the window. The rivers of liquid light glimmered like flowing glass, and strange creatures moved gracefully along the streets below. The city was alive in ways he had never imagined. Yet the beauty was tempered by the knowledge that this world was fragile, dependent on the core he had helped stabilize. Leora was already waiting for him in the hallway. Her luminous eyes seemed brighter in the morning light, and she carried herself with a grace that suggested both strength and ease. "Good morning, Alex," she said. "You rested well?" "I think so," he replied, rubbing his eyes. "It's hard to rest after what happened yesterday, but I'm ready to continue," she nodded approvingly. "That is good. Today we will explore more of the city and learn how the people of Erythra live and work. Understanding their ways will help you adapt and solve larger problems. Observation is as important as action here." Alex followed her through the winding streets. The city felt alive more than any human city he had ever seen. Buildings pulsed with energy, streets glowed softly, and Erythrans moved through the city with a rhythm that was both elegant and purposeful. Alex noticed that their interactions were more than verbal. They seemed to exchange thoughts and emotions in subtle ways. It was as if every glance, every gesture carried meaning that went beyond words. "This is how we communicate," Leora explained. "Our resonance allows us to understand each other's intentions and feelings without speaking. It is efficient and honest, but it can be overwhelming for outsiders. That is why humans are unusual. They rely on words and logic, yet your creativity and unpredictability are strengths we lack." Alex nodded slowly. He was beginning to understand that helping here required more than technical skill. It required understanding a culture and a way of thinking entirely different from his own. They reached a central plaza where a group of Erythrans were repairing a section of energy conduits. The conduits carried the core's energy to the city, and the repair required delicate coordination. Leora approached the workers, her hands glowing softly. "Alex, observe first. Notice how they sense the energy flows. Watch the patterns. Then we will try together." Alex knelt beside the conduits, examining the flowing currents of light. He saw how each Erythran adjusted their movements based on the subtle pulses of energy, synchronizing their actions without verbal commands. He realized that his human problem-solving skills, analytical thinking, trial and error, improvisation, could complement their intuitive approach. "Now, Alex," Leora said, "try it." He extended his hands, focusing on the energy. At first his movements were awkward, clumsy even. But as he concentrated, he began to sense the patterns, feeling the energy respond to his thoughts. He nudged it into alignment, and the conduits glowed steadily. The nearby Erythrans looked at him with curiosity and admiration. "You learn quickly," Leora said, her smile bright. "Humans have the ability to see patterns in new ways. That is why you are important. That is why I chose you." Alex felt a surge of pride, but he also felt the weight of responsibility. This was not a game. Mistakes could have catastrophic consequences, not just for the city, but for the entire planet. Yet he was exhilarated. He had never felt so alive. After hours of practice, Leora led Alex to a quieter area of the city. They sat near a flowing river of light, the energy casting shifting patterns across their faces. "You are learning fast," she said. "But there is more to understand. Your human mind is strong, but Erythran problems are not solved by strength alone. They require patience, empathy, and cooperation. And soon you will face a challenge that will test all of these qualities." Alex looked at her, curiosity and concern mingling in his expression. "A challenge? What kind of challenge?" Leora's eyes darkened slightly. "The rival faction is not idle. They seek to control the core for themselves. They believe they can harness its power to dominate the planet and beyond. We have seen signs of their scouts near the outer borders. Soon they will make a move. You must be ready. Alex's pulse quickened. He had faced challenges yesterday, but this sounded far more serious. Scouts, you mean? They might attack the city? They might, Leora said. And when they do, it will be more than a test of skill. It will test your courage, your judgment, and your ability to adapt. But I have faith in you. Humans are unpredictable, and that is why you are a threat to them. Alex nodded, determination settling in his chest. He had come to this world by accident, but now he felt a sense of purpose. He would help Leora. He would protect this planet. And he would prove that humanity's ingenuity could shine even in the most alien circumstances. The following day, Leora guided Alex to the outskirts of the city. Here the landscape was wild and untamed. Towering crystalline formations jutted from the ground. Rivers of energy twisted like serpents, and strange creatures observed them from a distance. Leora moved confidently, her energy flowing like a protective shield around them. They are scouting for weaknesses, she explained. The faction's agents are clever and ruthless. They will test us indirectly at first, probing our defenses, seeking patterns they can exploit. You must learn to anticipate their moves. Alex observed the terrain, noting natural choke points, energy flows, and possible ambush sites. He realized that his human experience, engineering, strategic thinking, problem-solving gave him an advantage in reading patterns and predicting outcomes. As they moved deeper into the wilds, they encountered the first direct threat. A group of drones, smaller than yesterday's attackers but faster and more agile, appeared from behind crystalline outcrops. Their glowing red sensors scanned the area, searching for the two intruders. Alex now, Leora shouted. He reacted instinctively, using a combination of his knowledge of energy flows and Leora's guidance. He directed a pulse of energy into the ground, creating a temporary barrier that deflected the drone's scanning beams. Leora moved beside him, forming a shimmering shield around them both. Together, human creativity and alien power proved formidable. The drones malfunctioned, unable to adapt to the unpredictable energy pulse, and they retreated. Breathing heavily, Alex looked at Leora. That worked. But they'll come back stronger. They will, she said calmly. But each encounter is a lesson. You are learning faster than I expected. Soon you will not just react, you will anticipate. They continued through the wild terrain, encountering challenges that tested both their skills and their bond. Strange energy anomalies threatened to destabilize their path, and they had to navigate carefully. Alex's human intuition allowed them to find solutions that Erythrans might not have considered. Leora's abilities provided protection and guidance, keeping them safe from harm. By evening, they reached a plateau overlooking the city. The sun, or rather one of Erythra's twin suns, cast a golden light over the towers. Alex felt a deep sense of awe. He had faced danger, learned new ways to think, and formed a bond with an alien being in ways he never imagined. You see, Alex, Leora said, her voice soft but filled with meaning. This is why I chose you. Humans can adapt, improvise, and act in ways that others cannot. That is why we are stronger together. That is why you are important. Alex looked at her, feeling a mixture of admiration and gratitude. I'm learning, I think, and I'm ready for whatever comes next. Whatever it takes, I want to help. Leora smiled, a warmth in her expression that made Alex's chest tighten in a way he had not expected. And you will. But remember, courage is only part of the solution. Observation, patience, and trust are just as important. You must trust yourself, and you must trust me. Alex nodded, feeling the weight of her words. He had always trusted logic, reason, and evidence. Now he was learning to trust intuition, connection, and partnership. It was a lesson that would shape him for the challenges ahead. As night fell, they set up a temporary camp on the plateau. The stars above Erythra were unlike any Alex had seen. Some shone with colors beyond the human spectrum. Others moved in patterns that suggested conscious thought. The air was alive with energy, and he could feel the planet's pulse in a way that was both humbling and exhilarating. Leora sat beside him, her energy softly glowing in the moonlight. Rest now, she said. Tomorrow we face greater challenges. You will meet others, learn more about the faction, and begin the work that could save my world. But for tonight, remember that even in the face of uncertainty, you are not alone. Alex lay back, staring at the sky. He felt a strange mixture of exhaustion and anticipation. The world was vast, dangerous, and beautiful, and he was right at the center of it. He had faced drones, learned to manipulate alien energy, and earned the trust of a being from another world. And tomorrow would bring new trials. But for the first time in his life, Alex felt truly alive. He was not just a human engineer anymore. He was part of something larger, something greater, and as he drifted to sleep, he felt the connection with Leora and Erythra itself, a bond that promised adventure, discovery, and the chance to prove that humans could shine even in the most alien of worlds. The morning on Erythra began with a tension that Alex had never felt before. The sky was calm, the rivers of light flowed steadily, and the crystalline towers shimmered in the sunlight. But there was an energy beneath it all, a sense that the world was holding its breath. Alex sat beside Leora, watching the city wake, feeling the quiet hum of the energy core beneath his feet. "They're preparing," Leora said softly, her eyes scanning the horizon. "The rival faction is gathering forces. Today we face them directly. You must stay focused, Alex. Everything we do will determine the fate of this city and possibly the entire planet." Alex swallowed hard, his pulse quickening. He had faced the scouts before, small groups testing their defenses. But now the threat was larger, organized, and dangerous. His mind raced with strategies, contingencies, and what-if scenarios. He had learned to adapt, but this was beyond anything he had imagined. Leora led him to a vantage point overlooking the main energy conduits that fed the city. The structures were beautiful and delicate, glowing with the power of the stabilized core. Any damage here could ripple across the entire planet. "You will coordinate with me," she said. "I will manage the energy flows and you will anticipate their attacks. Predict, disrupt, and protect. Together we can hold them off." Alex nodded. "Got it. Let's do this." As if on cue, the sky darkened with the shadow of approaching ships. The rival faction had arrived, sleek vessels that gleamed with alien technology, their engines humming a threatening tone. From the ships descended drones, more numerous and advanced than any Alex had seen. They moved with precision, scanning the city, seeking weak points. "They are aggressive," Leora said, "and organized. You must act quickly." Alex took a deep breath, focusing on the energy flows. He could feel the hum of the core, the pulse of the city, and the patterns of the attackers in his mind. Using a combination of human logic and intuition, he directed energy to key conduits, reinforcing vulnerable points and creating temporary barriers. Leora's shield shimmered and expanded, deflecting beams of energy from the drones. The first wave of attackers struck, beams hitting the barriers with explosive force. Alex calculated the timing and redirected pulses through the conduits, causing the beams to dissipate harmlessly into the air. Leora adjusted the shields, guiding the energy with graceful precision. Together, they formed a seamless defense, human ingenuity and alien power working in perfect synchrony. Despite their success, the rival faction was relentless. More drones descended faster and smarter, adapting to their tactics. Alex realized they had anticipated some of his strategies, forcing him to improvise. He manipulated the conduits in ways he hadn't tried before, creating unpredictable energy pulses that disrupted the drone's programming. Leora watched with admiration. "You are thinking like we do, but in ways we could not. That is why humans are so valuable." Alex gritted his teeth, focusing. The drone surged forward, but he was ready. He calculated angles, energy flow, and timing, directing pulses that scattered the attackers. One by one, the drones faltered, their formations breaking. Leora's shields remained strong, protecting the city and amplifying Alex's interventions. But the rival faction was not finished. From the ships, a massive energy cannon descended, aiming directly at the core. Alex froze, realizing that a single strike could destabilize everything. Leora placed her hands on the conduit control panel, her energy flaring to protect the orb. "Alex, I need you now. Focus on the core's fluctuations. Predict the destabilization and counter it." Alex nodded, sweat dripping from his brow. He focused every ounce of his mind on the core, sensing its vibrations, its rhythm, and its weaknesses. He calculated energy pulses, redirected flows, and synchronized with Leora's shields. The core trembled under the force of the cannon, but Alex's interventions held it steady. The cannon fired again, and again, each blast shaking the chamber and threatening to collapse the conduits. Alex's mind worked frantically, combining strategy, timing, and intuition. He redirected energy pulses in complex patterns, creating a feedback loop that absorbed the cannon's impact. Leora's shields amplified the effect, and slowly, the cannon's energy was dissipated harmlessly. The rival factions' ships faltered, their calculations thrown off by the unpredictable human ingenuity. Alex realized that their strength lay not in brute force but in adaptability and creativity, qualities the attackers could not anticipate. Leora's eyes glowed brightly as she observed him. "You are extraordinary, Alex. Your mind is a weapon just as powerful as any of our energy constructs." Alex took a deep breath, relief mingling with exhilaration. "We're not done yet. They'll come back." "They always do." "Perhaps," Leora said. "But now they understand something important. Humans are unpredictable, and that is why they fear us together." The next phase of the attack began as drones infiltrated the city, attempting to sabotage key structures. Alex and Leora moved swiftly, their coordination seamless. Alex guided energy pulses to neutralize threats before they could reach critical points, while Leora used her resonance to stabilize the conduits and protect civilians. Through the chaos, Alex noticed the beauty of the city's design. Every structure, every energy flow worked in harmony with the planet itself. It was a delicate balance, and for the first time he understood the magnitude of what they were defending. This was not just a city. It was a living, breathing system that depended on careful maintenance and the courage of those who protected it. Hours passed in a blur of energy, light, and strategy. Alex's human ingenuity combined with Leora's alien abilities repelled wave after wave of attacks. The rival faction's drones faltered under the unpredictable patterns he created, and their ships were forced to retreat temporarily. At one point, Alex paused, exhausted, and looked at Leora. "I didn't think I could keep up with this, but because somehow we did it." Leora smiled, her energy glowing softly. "You are stronger than you realize, and together we are more than strong. Humans and Erythrans united. That is the future." Even as they caught their breath, a new realization dawned on Alex. The rival faction was clever, but they underestimated the combination of human creativity and alien precision. And if they continued to work together, there was nothing they could not overcome. As night fell, the city glowed under the twin moons. The energy core hummed steadily, stabilized once again by their combined efforts. Alex and Leora stood atop a crystalline tower, overlooking the city they had saved. Civilians moved through the streets below, unaware of the danger that had threatened them while the structures pulsed with light and life. "You have done more than defend the city," Leora said softly. "You have shown my people the value of human ingenuity. They will remember this. They will understand that humans are not just outsiders, they are allies, partners, and friends." Alex felt a surge of pride and humility. He had come to this world by chance, yet he had played a role in protecting it. He realized that bravery was not just about fighting. It was about thinking, creating, and working together to face impossible odds. "We'll need to prepare for tomorrow," Leora said, her tone serious. "The faction will regroup and they will return. But tonight, we rest. You have earned it." Alex nodded, feeling the exhaustion of the day settle into his muscles. But beneath it all was a sense of accomplishment and purpose he had never known. He had faced a threat that seemed insurmountable and survived. He had learned to work alongside an alien being in ways he had never imagined, and he had proven, at least to himself, that humanity could shine even in the face of overwhelming odds. As they descended to their quarters, Alex looked up at the stars. Arithra was alive, vibrant, and resilient, and for the first time he understood that his place in the universe was not just to survive, but to contribute, to protect, and to shine. Leora walked beside him, her energy pulsing softly in the moonlight. "Rest now, Alex," she said. "Tomorrow we will face new challenges, and together we will continue to prove that humanity's spark is a force to be reckoned with." Alex smiled, feeling a deep sense of connection. He had crossed a threshold into a world of wonder, danger, and discovery, and he knew that whatever came next, he would not face it alone. With Leora by his side and his human ingenuity guiding them, there was nothing they could not overcome. That night, as Alex lay on his cot, he thought about the day's events. He had faced impossible odds, protected a city, and helped stabilize a planet's core. He had learned new ways to think, new ways to see patterns, and new ways to connect with an alien being. And he realized that this was only the beginning. The universe was vast, full of challenges, dangers, and opportunities. And for the first time, Alex felt ready. He was not just a human engineer on a distant colony. He was a part of something larger, something greater. He was a protector, a problem solver, and a partner in a mission that spanned worlds. And somewhere, deep within the energy of Erythra, he could feel the planet itself acknowledging his efforts. The core pulsed steadily, a heartbeat of light and life, resonating with the courage and ingenuity of humanity. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new threats, and new opportunities. But Alex was ready. He had faced the impossible and survived. He had proven that humans could shine even among the stars. And with Leora by his side, there was no limit to what they could achieve together. The morning on Erythra was calm, but carried a tension that weighed heavily on Alex. After the previous battles, the city had regained its rhythm, the rivers of light flowing smoothly, and the crystalline towers glowing softly in the twin suns' light. But Alex could feel the undercurrent of anticipation. The rival faction was not finished. Today they would strike in full force, and the outcome would determine the fate of the planet. Leora appeared beside him, her presence calm but commanding. Her eyes glowed softly, reflecting the light of the city below. "Alex," she said, "today we face them fully. The faction has regrouped. They have learned from their mistakes. But so have we. Are you ready?" Alex nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility, but also a steady confidence. He had grown in ways he had never expected. He had learned to read energy flows, anticipate attacks, and work in perfect synchrony with Leora. He had faced drones, energy weapons, and strategic assaults, and he had survived. Now he was ready for the ultimate challenge. They moved quickly to the central energy conduits, where the core pulsed steadily, glowing with a radiant energy that illuminated the chamber. Alex could feel its vibration in his chest, a constant reminder of the stakes. Leora placed her hands on the controls, her energy spreading to the conduits and the protective shields around the city. "We will synchronize our actions," she said. "You will guide the core. I will manage the energy flows. Together we will create a shield strong enough to withstand their assault." Alex took a deep breath, focusing his mind. He felt the patterns of the energy, the pulse of the core, and the rhythm of the city. He could sense the movements of the attackers before they even appeared, predicting their strategies based on subtle energy fluctuations. His human intuition, combined with Leora's alien resonance, made them a formidable team. From the sky, the rival factions' ships appeared, larger and more numerous than ever. Their engines glowed a deep crimson, and energy weapons bristled along their hulls. Waves of drones descended toward the city, moving with precision and coordination that suggested careful planning. "They are striking together," Leora said, her voice steady but intense. "We must respond in kind." Alex extended his hands, channeling energy through the conduits. He created patterns that disrupted the drones' formations, forcing them to scatter. Leora's shields expanded, absorbing blasts and directing the energy harmlessly into the city's conduits. The first wave of attacks was repelled, but the next was even more aggressive. The faction deployed massive energy cannons aimed directly at the core. Alex's pulse quickened. He could feel the tremors in the conduits, the slight destabilization of the core as the beams struck with full force. He adjusted energy pulses, redirecting the impact and reinforcing weak points. Leora mirrored his actions, her hands a blur of light and motion, stabilizing the shields and guiding energy flows with precision. Hours passed in a blur of strategy and action. Alex and Leora moved as one, anticipating each attack, countering every move, and protecting the city. The rival faction's forces were relentless, but Alex's human ingenuity kept them off balance. He manipulated the energy in ways the attackers could not predict, creating unexpected patterns that disrupted their calculations. At one point, a massive drone broke through their defenses, moving directly toward the core. Alex reacted instinctively. He redirected a surge of energy, using the conduits to channel a powerful pulse that disabled the drone instantly. Leora reinforced the shields, preventing any residual energy from destabilizing the core. They exchanged a brief glance, a silent acknowledgement of the trust and understanding that had grown between them. "You are extraordinary, Alex," Leora said, her voice carrying both admiration and relief. "Your mind is as powerful as your courage." Alex shook his head, focusing on the next wave. We're not done yet. They're not giving up. Indeed, the final wave was the most dangerous. The faction's flagship descended, bristling with energy weapons and guarded by elite drones. Its cannon was massive, capable of obliterating the core in a single shot. Alex felt the weight of the moment. Every calculation, every pulse, and every action mattered. One mistake could destroy everything. Leora placed her hands on the central controls. Alex, we will need to synchronize fully. Trust yourself and trust me. Alex nodded, feeling the hum of the core in his chest. He focused, sensing the patterns, predicting the attacks, and preparing responses. Leora's energy flowed into his, creating a resonance that amplified both their abilities. Together, they formed a barrier of light and energy that surrounded the city and the core, stronger than anything they had attempted before. The flagship fired its massive cannon. The beam struck their shield, and Alex felt the tremor run through the conduits. He redirected pulses, reinforcing the shield from within, while Leora adjusted her resonance to absorb the energy and disperse it safely. The beam hit the barrier with a blinding flash, but the city and core remained intact. The flagship fired again, then again, each time meeting resistance. Alex adjusted, redirected, and synchronized with Leora, anticipating the firing patterns. Finally, with a coordinated pulse, they disrupted the energy flow of the cannon itself, causing it to overload and explode in a controlled burst far above the city. The rival factions' ships faltered, their formations breaking. The drones, disoriented and unable to adapt to the unpredictable patterns of Alex's energy manipulations, began to retreat. The flagship, damaged and malfunctioning, withdrew into the sky, leaving the city safe for the moment. Alex sank to the ground, exhausted but exhilarated. Leora's hands glowed softly as she stabilized the last of the conduits. You did it, she said, a rare smile lighting her face. Together we saved the city and the planet. You have proven that humans are capable of brilliance even among the stars. Alex shook his head, still catching his breath. We did it together. I couldn't have done it without you. Leora's expression softened. And I could not have done it without you. That is why humans are so valuable. Your creativity, your adaptability, your courage, they are unmatched. The city slowly returned to normal. Civilians moved freely through the streets, unaware of the danger that had threatened them. The energy core pulsed steadily, stronger and more stable than ever. Alex looked around, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment. He had come to this world as a visitor, a stranger, and now he had become a hero, a protector, and a trusted partner. As night fell, Alex and Leora stood atop a crystalline tower overlooking the city. The twin moons reflected in the rivers of light, and the stars shimmered in patterns that seemed to celebrate their victory. You have done more than save the city, Leora said softly. You have shown my people the value of humans. They will see us differently now, and perhaps the universe will too. Alex smiled, feeling a deep connection not just to Leora, but to the planet itself. He had faced impossible odds, learned new ways to think, and proven that human ingenuity could shine even in the most alien environments. Leora's gaze softened as she looked at him. Rest now, Alex, you have earned it. Tomorrow will bring new opportunities, new challenges, and perhaps even new adventures. But tonight, celebrate. You have done something remarkable. Alex nodded, feeling the exhaustion of the day settle into his muscles, but beneath it all, a profound sense of purpose. He had come to Erythra uncertain and untested, but he had left an indelible mark. He had proven that humans could adapt, learn, and triumph, even in the most alien of worlds. As he lay in his chamber that night, he thought about the journey he had undertaken. The portal, the strange alien world, the energy core, the drones, the rival faction, and Leora herself. Every challenge had taught him something new about himself, about humanity, and about the power of collaboration across worlds. And as he drifted to sleep, he felt a quiet thrill. The universe was vast, full of mysteries, dangers, and wonders, but he was ready. He had proven that humans could rise to the occasion, that courage and ingenuity could overcome the impossible, and that bonds formed across worlds could create strength beyond imagination. With Leora by his side, Alex knew that no challenge was insurmountable. Together they had faced the ultimate threat, stabilized a world, and shown that humanity's spark could shine brightly, even among the stars. And as Erythra pulsed with life, Alex realized that this was only the beginning of countless adventures to come, a universe of possibilities waiting to be explored, challenged and conquered. He closed his eyes, feeling the steady hum of the core, the warmth of Leora's presence, and the deep satisfaction of a mission accomplished. The galaxy was vast, but for the first time, Alex felt that he had a place in it, not just as a visitor, but as a protector, a thinker, and a human whose ingenuity could change the course of worlds. The night was quiet. The stars shimmered, and Aretha was safe, for now, and Alex knew deep in his heart that humanity's potential was limitless.